Bungie unveiled the anti-champion mods for next season, so you guys know the deal. Today, I'm going to be giving you all a list of the best weapons to have ready for next season. As I did last time I made one of these videos, I will only include 2 weapons per mod, since any chill clip fusion rifle or breach loading grenade launcher will be the best anti-champion weapon in the game. I have a video in the description below explaining this in case if you don't already know. Finally, I will try to include 1 weapon per slot, meaning 1 weapon in the kinetic and special slot. With all of that being said, let's dive into the video. Let's open up with the first and only available anti-barrier mod this season, auto rifles. Auto rifles have played some part in the anti-champion meta now for the past few seasons, and that seems to not change at all, but thankfully I have a few bangers for you all. To start it off, I want to recommend the Rufus's Fury. This 720 RPM auto rifle drops from the Root of Nightmares raid, more specifically the 3rd encounter. This weapon was already getting the community's attention when it first released, but after the recent auto rifle buff in the mid-season update, this weapon has become a fan favorite in PvE, and for good reason. It's craftable, meaning it gets access to enhanced perks. It is one of 6 weapons in the game in which the adept version of the weapon also gets enhanced perks, and comes packed with some amazing high-end PvE perks like Reconstruction, Rewind Rounds, and Demolitionist in Column 3, and Target Locker Frenzy in Column 4. If you need a primary auto rifle for GMs this season, then definitely consider the Rufus's Fury. The second auto rifle I'd recommend is none other than the Sweet Sorrow. I have spoken highly of this weapon now for almost a year, and it is for good reason. Sweet Sorrow is a 720 RPM auto rifle that is only accessible through the Gunsmith's feature tab, but it comes packed with great perks, and if you're able to, you can even craft it. If you get one, go for the All for All combo, which is the Stats for All and 1 for All combo, for an absolute monster of an auto rifle. Moving on from the anti-barrier weapons, we have the overload weapons, and to kick us off, we have Scout Rifle. Just like auto rifles, it has felt like these weapons have played a big part in anti-champion mods for the past few seasons, and that won't change either. To open the suggestions up, we have Nightwatch. Nightwatch is a 200 RPM scout rifle that can only drop from the New Light quest. While this may sound bad, the New Light variant of this weapon is the god roll of this weapon, and to get it, it takes about 10 minutes, so it is 100% worth it. If you absolutely do not want to use the Nightwatch though, then the Taraxipose from this year's Guardian Games event will work wonderfully, or Hung Jury will also work well. The second scout rifle I recommend will be the Vouchsafe. Vouchsafe is one of the best scout rifles in the game when it comes down to feel and perk pool. It drops from the Dreaming City and comes loaded with some great perks like Rapid Hit or 4th times the Charm in Column 3, and Explosive Payload or Vorpal Weapon in Column 4. If you do not want to use the Vouchsafe, then Vision of Confluence, Trusty, and Tarnished Metal are all great alternatives. The next overload mod is Overload Trace Rifles. While this weapon mod will be entirely overshadowed by a certain weapon, I will still give you 2 different weapons to try out with this mod. The first spot goes to Path of Least Resistance. This trace rifle was the seasonal trace rifle from Season of the Seraph and comes with some great perks for high-end PvE content. I will say that this trace rifle is an absolute bitch to get due to it only coming from the feature tab at the Gunsmith, but if you have one of these in your possession or if you can craft it, and for some reason you do not want to use Divinity at all, then the Path of Least Resistance will work well for you. Consider going for Subsistence or Shoot to Loot in Column 3, and Bolt Shot or 1 for All in Column 4. The second trace rifle I'm going to recommend is SniperKH's Dejection. This trace rifle drops from the Root of Nightmares raid, is craftable, is one of 6 weapons in the game in which the adept variant of it can access enhanced perks, and it comes with great perks. In Column 3, go for Reconstruction or Rewind Round, and in Column 4, go for Frenzy, Target Lock, or Vorpal Weapon. Once again, you'll find more value in using Divinity, but if you can't or don't want to use Divinity for whatever reason, then here are your next best options. Moving on from overload mods, we now have unstoppable mods, and to kickstart us, we have hand cannons. To jump straight into it, we're going to open up with Fatebringer. Fatebringer is the 140 RPM raid hand cannon from Vault of Glass and just so happens to have amazing perks. I'd recommend going for Explosive Payload in Column 3 and Frenzy in Column 4. The second hand cannon I'm going to recommend is the Zyuli's Bane from King's Fall. This 140 RPM hand cannon can be found in the King's Fall raid as previously mentioned and comes with some great PvE rolls. My favorite for high-end PvE content is Explosive Payload in Column 3 and 1 for All in Column 4, and I'm sure that many will agree with me. If you do not want to use the Zyuli's Bane, then no worries, as Cantata 57 with timed payload will do you justice. Regardless of whatever hand cannon you choose, these will serve you well in high-end content. The final anti-champion mod to discuss is none other than Unstoppable Glaives. And all I have to say for the 3 people out there that are still using Glaives in high-end content is shout out to you for sticking with the weapon, even if that weapon just sucks ass. I'm going to be honest, I don't really know a whole lot about Glaives, but regardless, I will still try to give my best recommendations for these weapons. My first pick goes to Nezarek's Whisper. Nezarek's Whisper was the seasonal glaive that dropped with the Season of the Haunted last year, and with the abundance of seasonal arc mods we're getting next season, you might find some great use in this weapon. Consider going for lead from Gold in Column 3 and Frenzy in Column 4. The second and final weapon to talk about today is none other than the first glaive you get, the Enigma. The Enigma drops from the quest that introduces you to crafting in the Witch Queen, and comes packed with some good perks for high-end content. My personal favorite is Grave Robber in Column 3 and Frenzy in Column 4, but if you have a better perk combination for either of these weapons, then please let me know in the comments below. Well, that'll wrap up today's video. If you found it helpful, then consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel for more Destiny 2 content dropping weekly. If you have questions about anything I talked about in this video, then feel free to drop a comment below, and I'll be sure to get to your questions. Otherwise, feel free to follow me on my social media platforms linked below to get updates on when I upload, go live, and more. With that being said, I'm SniperKH, and I'm out. Good luck with gaming.